Opening statement is going to be 15 minutes, I think. That's what, when SFT debated him, it was 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
So for the opening, let's opening. For the opening, I listened to his opening, and he used to be Muslim. So the guy that I'm debating used to be Muslim, okay?
Used to be. Okay.
But he was an international student, which I guess that means, I think he says that he got saved when he was 28. And he got a master's in business, MBA, master's in business administration, I think. So very smart, right? But the economy went bad, he said. So he joined the Navy. Okay. And so while he's in the Navy, he gets saved. Okay. I'm gonna let you listen to the rest of his testimony right here. And y'all just stop when you have a thought, okay? Let me make sure my sound is shared.
New life has started since. While in the Navy, someone recommended me a book from David Icke, an English writer. Human Race, Get Off Your Knees, The Lion is Sleep No More.
So I researched this David Icke person. I didn't know who he was. He's one of the ones that thinks everything's conspiracy, and he thinks that people are really lizard people, like possessed demons and stuff. So this is the guy who we read, who we got saved through. And so I don't know what the doctrine of this David Icke is, but hopefully he received the true gospel.
The book was about awakening people of evil agenda that we all are aware of. It talks about
he deleted himself, so
world,
he can't say it.
Georgia Guidestone, Freemason, Satan.
So he's into all this conspiracy stuff, you know.
Satanists, their blood rituals, evil, demonic, spiritual entities that manifest themselves as reptilians, so on and so forth. A book was very interesting read for me. My journey of studying about these topics lasted about a year. I squeezed all these information to this very important conclusion that changed my life and brought me to Jesus. Satan is more real than the oxygen we breathe. Therefore, God must be as real. Who God that might be? God must be the one that Satan fight against, Jesus Christ. That's why we have Antichrist.
So here's my comment from when it was live going on. I thanked him for his service in the military. And then right here on the side, it said, he started with pathos to convey ethos so that we will accept his logos. Do y'all know what I'm talking about there?
No.
I'll show you. Aristotle, pathos, ethos, logos. When people give presentations and speaking, okay? Here, this looks like a good one. When people give presentations, whenever they're speaking, they will emphasize certain things first. So pathos is emotion, the heart. Logos is the brain. Ethos is he credible, you know? So is this person a credible person? Well, number one, he's intelligent. That's what he's told us from the very beginning. He's basically told us that he has a lot of education, that he served in the Navy and things like that. And so he's telling his testimony in such a way because he wants people to trust him, okay? And he's telling his testimony. Now, what's interesting though, it's funny because before he started the video, he said, when I made the video, I was angry at y'all. So you can see that he's more emotionally driven, but that's kind of common for ex-Muslims that become Christians a lot of times. And he's from Iran. So he's more emotive in that area, which is fine. But so he's starting in that way on emotional because he's got the music playing and he's telling about this because he wants us to accept his argument. Okay.
At this time, I knew Jesus is
Hear the
God,
music.
but doesn't make any sense logically because God, by definition, must be unlimited. Jesus is a man and therefore limited. He can't be God logically. But I had that revelation that Jesus is God Almighty in the bottom of my heart with no question. Peter had the same experience. Remember when Philip told him, "We found the Christ, come and see him"? Peter says, "Anything good come from Nazareth?" Then when he saw Jesus, he says to him, "You are the Son of God." Then Jesus says, "Blood and flesh did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." It is safe to assume that Peter knew the scripture, Torah, and knew the Messiah will come from the Bethlehem. But he knew he found that the Messiah regardless of that apparent discrepancy. All of it is because of his humble heart. Bless those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God. Very important verse. That's why Muslim, they have no excuse. Just being pure in your heart, God will reveal yourself to you. Right off the bat, I'm not a work salvationist. Don't call me that ever. If you do, that's fine. However, if you do it out of mockery, I'll let you have it with no mercy. You also want to know that you are insulting Paul and the Holy Spirit who inspired him, not me. For example, every time I even only mention, nothing more, about willful sinning, OSAS guys start their mockery. Willful sinning is in the Bible, guys. The Bible you claim to be true entirely. I did not invent it or preach it first. Paul did. He did it because the same Holy Spirit who wrote the entire Bible inspired him as well. So what is the problem with such verses in which OSAS guys don't like to preach them? Well, nothing wrong with them because King James Version, as we all agree, is the Word of God and do not have any contradiction in it. Apparently, OSAS guys who believe the Bible is the Word of God and no contradiction in it think somehow some verses supports work salvation. Otherwise, when was the last time OSAS guys preached those verses? I preach all the verses at all time. For example, whoever call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Along with Hebrew 10:26 in the same line. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sin, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries. Guys, this is preached to the saved people, and this fire is not a special fire with the lower temperature for saved one. This is the same fire that God prepared for his adversaries. OSAS guys might say, no, we preach these verses all the time. Well, first of all, I personally never heard you doing that. And secondly, the truth is,
Look what I say on the side. Jenny, you don't have to mute yourself. And you sent me a message, but I can't see it on my Zoom on here. I don't know why it won't show up, so I can't look at it right now. Okay.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is you said that he is not the salvation
Work
salvation
salvationist.
yeah, he is not the work salvationist, but he think that the salvation will last. So it's so complicated with him.
Right, but at one point in time, he probably believed he had eternal life. But I don't know. You know, being a Muslim, he might have just believed it and said, "Yeah, I believe Jesus is true, but I still believe everything else that Islam says about works." It's possible that's how he's thinking. And in that
Yeah.
situation, he's work salvationist, and then it's debated whether he's saved at all, you know,
Mm.
because is he trusting in Christ alone? I don't know enough about his testimony. The
Mm.
other thing is that if he does believe, but then it's an issue of sanctification. That's why I use the term work sanctificationist. So when I begin my video, I don't know if he's going to make one of these videos and do the same type of opening up. But if he does this type of opening up, I'm just going to address it and say, I see that you're an intelligent man. I see that you're passionate. You know, I see that you served in the military and all of that. I don't agree with all the conspiracy stuff that you're into and everything, but that doesn't affect this debate. You know, there's something like that. You know, I would like to know more about your testimony, things you believed, you know, how you trusted in Christ alone. What was your struggle? I might mention how I used to witness to Muslims after 9/11, things like that. But I make this comment down here, and I used to use this with Muslims all the time. Why would a Muslim who must know the original Arabic of the Quran only embrace the Bible without learning the original languages? Or does he know Greek and Hebrew too? So that's one thing I want to know is, does he know the original languages, right? So that's one of the issues I'm thinking of. But anytime y'all have thoughts, let's talk about them.
No, you don't preach them unless we bring it to your attention. Then yes, you preach it saying.
And then this part right here where he's basically saying we don't preach all the Bible. As you know, Janet, you can go all the way through my channel, years of content. And I don't always talk about free grace, and I don't always talk about dispensationalism, but I've always emphasized discipleship and how to live as a Christian and all of that stuff, teaching in my class in his church. So his accusation against some OSAS or free grace, it doesn't apply in my situation. So he needs to focus on the passage in here and not try to attack people he's not debating. You see the problem? He's focused on others that he's encountered, and he needs to be focusing me. And if he hasn't been studying my channel, I should be able to see where more views are showing up on my channel. Because if I know I'm going to debate somebody, I'm going to study them as much as I possibly can, you know. And I still have more studying to do of his stuff. Because if he doesn't study my stuff and he comes in there acting like he doesn't know what I believe, I'm going to tell him, you had no excuse. Why didn't you prepare? You know, I'm going to expose that.
It doesn't say what it says. So we need the guru to tell us what it means. Those Hebrews needed you to tell them what the Paul's letter mean, or they just simply read it and they understood what it meant.
So now you hear what he's saying? I'm going to talk in simple, clear language and use King James. I think he's a King James guy, which I don't have a problem with. If you're King James, that's fine. But he says there's a difference between reading and studying. And he's saying you should just read the letter. Well, if you're going to take that approach, nothing I say about study is going to convince you, because you expect us to just read the letter. If you just read a letter, how much are you going to learn, Janet? How many times has a person read the Bible but never studied the Bible? And most people don't know how to read the Bible carefully.
Yeah, I told you before that I read 4 times, cover to cover. But when I go to study the Bible with you, I just realized that I didn't understand what I read.
Right. So when you read the Bible 4 times, you learned that there was many books, just like my bookshelf. You can't see right now because it's dark. but you didn't know how it was organized. You didn't know how it was connected. So people like, oh, mini books. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You know, and they make a connection for themselves for application. But
when you receive the letter, do you study the letter or you read it? Maybe you want to study it in a different context, but the purpose of the letter is to be as simple as possible.
But you remember what Gordon Fee said? I mean, not Gordon. Yeah, was it Gordon Fee? Or yeah, he said, when you get a letter, what do you do? What do you do when you get a love letter?
Yeah, you
read it.
Yeah, you read it in a way that someone written to you, not including your experience, to include the letter from your loved ones because you are not part of it.
Yeah, it was actually mentioned in Adler's book, How to Read a Book. But since we're on it, I'm gonna bring up the book. I think I have it. Come on, Slowpoke.
Your logos is slow.
Yeah, my logos is slow. All right. How to read a.
We have that book list, how to read the book, the worth, for its worth.
For all it's worth, yes.
For
I have
all
Gordon Fee.
I know.
But the problem with that book is it makes people charismatic. I mean, you know what I mean?
I know that, but we are aware already what is charismatic and not.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So it would be okay. I got How to Read the Bible book by book. Do I have How to Read the Bible? How to read?
Yeah, in Drive. Not there.
No, I got it right here.
Maganda yan, sis Liz. Makaka-relate ka. Kasi ako nakarelate ako kasi I was in charismatic. But if you come out from charismatic, you can learn that this book is not good for.
So which one do you think Lisa should read first? Living by the Book, How to Read the Bible, or Zuck? Because you've read all three now. Which one would you recommend?
How to read the book.
How to read the book. Yeah, that's better. How to read the book.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, Living by the Book is.
But Zach is good also. The basic Bible interpretation, right? That is not it.
Hold on. Yeah,
Which
Zuck's
book?
book is good. Is it in letter? Or is it Living by the Book that examples in?
Yeah, the Living by the Book also.
Yeah, it's not in this one. I'm sorry. Living by the Book.
How about basic Bible interpretation by Zach?
Yes, but it doesn't have my illustration here. I can't believe I can't find this at. Oh,
yeah, read the Bible as a love letter.
Yes. All right. So this is Lisa's gonna read this.
Yes.
You don't have to read it like a love letter, but you have to read about it. Okay.
Okay, which one?
Hold on. Where's the read mode? Read view. Okay. I don't like that. What's happening here?
2 page.
Yeah. What's going on? Okay. All right, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, where is my... read the Bible as a love letter. So have you ever fallen in love? Yes, I hope so. I fell in love with the woman.
There's no yes there.
Hey, that's not my story. My wife, Jane, through a correspondence courtship, 5 years.
Whoa, did you hear that, Janet?
Mhm.
He knew his wife 5 years. This is ironic. He knew his wife 5 years through letters before they married.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else knew each other 5 years before they married?
Charles and Janet.
Wow, I never thought about that. That's interesting. And our anniversary is coming up soon too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like predestination, huh?
Oh, so I mean, you mean you are you meet 5 years before you get married?
Yeah. But
Mm.
no, we have relationship, but we already have like 6 or 7. But that time we are doing Bible study and
Yeah. All right.
Chase the woman. I chase the woman. Ay,
Oh, sorry. And the one, let's see.
I
I chased the woman until she finally caught me.
yeah, I chased that woman until she finally caught me. So guess what I did when one of her letters would arrive? Did I mumbled? Oh no, another letter from Jane. Uh, 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 I guess I better read it. So, I guess I better read it. Did I sit down, read the first paragraph, and then say, well, that's enough from today. I can check that item off my list. What? No way. I used to read every single letter 4 or 5 times. I'd stand in line waiting to get into the dining room at college, reading her letters there at night. I'd read them before I went to bed. I'd tuck them under the pillow so that if I woke up in the middle of the night, I could pull them out and read them all over again. Why? Because I was in love with the person who wrote them. That's the way to come to the Word of God. Read it as though it were his love letter to you. When Mortimer Adler's book first came out, it was advertised in the New York Times under the slogan, How to Read a Love Letter. A picture showed a puzzled adolescent perusing a letter with a following copy underneath. And this young man has just received his first love letter. He may have read it 3 or 4 times, but he is just beginning to read it as just accurately as he would like. Would require several dictionaries and a good deal of close work with a few experts of etymology and philology. However, he will do all right without them. He will ponder over the exact shade of meaning of every word, every comma. She has heeded the letter. There, John. What he asked himself is the exact significance of those words. Those words. Did she refrain from saying dearest because she was bashful? Would my dear have sounded too formal? Jeepers, maybe she would have said dear so and so to anybody. A worried frown will now appear on his face, but it disappears as soon as he really gets to thinking about the first sentence. She certainly wouldn't have written that to anybody. And so he works his way through the letter. One moment perched blissfully and on a cloud. The next moment huddled miserably behind an 8 ball. It had started 100 questions in his mind. He could code it by heart. In fact, he will too himself for weeks to come. Then the advertisement concluded, if people read books with anything like the same concentration, we'd be a race of mental giants.
Notice that's a quotation. Even though it's quoting Adler, it's actually quoting Robert Traina's methodical Bible study methods. You know, the Bauer and Traina. This is the older book. Yeah. Okay, so you get the point. Hey, Rowena, what we're doing is we're preparing for my debate with this person right
Tomorrow?
here.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
is your
No,
debate. So
the 25th is my
Oh,
debate.
Saturday, in our Saturday thing.
I think so.
no,
20, no, it's Friday.
In
Yeah,
our
Saturday.
Okay, y'all can tell Rowena, in Tagalog, real quickly, what you have learned from right now, while we've been meeting, what she's missed or what's important that you think she should know. And then I'll wait.
Okay, in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Because
There
you
is
talk
this.
faster.
Okay. Ang binabasa namin, Mahal, yung about how to read a book. May masumulat nito na how parang it's look like how to read a Bible. It's read a Bible with like a love letter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yun.
about the video that tungkol naman itong video na natin. Bali, ito yung tao na Charlie will debate this coming Saturday, and we are watching the video to learn what his position, his belief, and how he debate. So tinitingnan ko ano yung mga sinasabi niya. So ngayon, ang gagawin natin, manunod tayo sa video niya. Then, kung meron kang thoughts, then you ask questions, mag-react, magtanong, ayan.
Magwala ka, ganun ba? Maglupasay.
Tapos mamalibag.
Oo.
Ayan.
Grabe
Yan.
ka ha. Okay.
All right.
So who is this man?
This is the person I will be debating.
Daniel Mira.
He used to be Muslim. Now he's a Christian. He got saved at 28. He had a business degree, but the economy went bad. So he got in the Navy, served in the Navy, got saved through reading a conspiracy book. And
Muslim siya dati.
Okay. So what is his subject of that?
he thinks you can lose your salvation. I say no.
That is his subject.
Oh, yung
Okay,
yung
alright,
belief
okay.
niya, he can lose
Okay.
his salvation.
Yeah, so he recorded himself. I don't know if he's going to do the same thing whenever I debated, when I debate him, but he recorded himself
Quite
at
interesting.
the very beginning of the debate with SFT. Okay.
Okay.
He's really obsessed with understanding a passage from Hebrews 10, sinning willfully.
Hebrews word.
Yeah,
Mm.
the Hebrew, not the language Hebrews, the book of Hebrews in the New Testament.
Okay.
He doesn't understand the book. And what I'm going to hopefully do in the debate is I'm going to start with the Old Testament, clarify those things so that he can understand the Hebrews. Now that's not going to be easy to do, but what I'm going to show you is finish up playing his, and then we'll listen to SFT's response. Okay.
Yeah. This is the debate of our friend SFT and person. So we are going to study the debate for the benefit of Charlie this coming Saturday's debate.
Yeah. Because I'm
All right.
preparing. And then probably at the free grace Bible study that I teach on Sunday morning, if many people don't show up and it's us again, we'll just continue. Okay.
Okay. I just listen.
For the receiver to read it and understand it. This is the purpose of the letter. Paul wrote letters.
So he's saying we shouldn't study the Bible. We should read letters. Read it by like a letter. And that's fine if you mean it like what we were just reading. But he's using it like we shouldn't get too deep in our study because we're missing something, that type of thing.
Yeah, he just studied the translation.
Okay, what the book that he is reading is related to what?
No, he's the quote that I was reading a while ago was a good thing. It was using the example that we should study the Bible the way we study a love letter. Okay. He's saying we should read and not study, but he means it in the opposite way.
We
should
read but not study.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
What is that?
I know.
It doesn't make sense.
There is a difference. There is a difference between reading and studying. And let me show y'all this while we're here.
I want to say it again also that before I was in I was reading the Bible 4 times every year, 4 times already. Then I thought that I understand already. But when I undergo studying the Bible with Charlie, and then I noticed that the Bible that I read, I really didn't understand until I study it with Charlie.
So when I take when I take when I'm taking research methods classes, this is a book that we read.
Oh, to
Um,
read a book summary.
yeah, there's 3 types of
Then
reading. There's elementary reading. What does the sentence say? Words. Inspectional reading. What is the book about? Meaning.
Will you
elementary.
copy paste that and put in the Zoom, please?
There's so
Only
much
those.
there. There's so much here. But if
You have to
you
find it.
Yeah. Only the,
Janet,
oh
Oh, you mean the 3 types, Janet?
yeah, but never mind.
just listen. I just want to share the levels of reading, Janet. You can find it anytime. It's no problem. Or I'll send it to you later. First level, elementary reading, recognizing individual words on the page. What does the sentence say? Speed reading and mechanical improvement in reading often focus on this level. Second level, inspectional reading. The goal of this level is to get the most out of a book within a given time. Inspection, let me make this bigger so you can see it. Inspectional reading is the art of skimming systematically, aimed to examine the surface of the book. What is this book about? And what is the structure of the book? Our second level matters. Third level, analytical reading. Analytical reading is the best, most complete reading possible given unlimited time. This is highly active reading. Analytical reading is not necessary for informational or entertainment reading. So when you're doing when you're looking for information or you're just reading for entertainment, like you like a story, you're not really thinking like this. Except when I watch a movie with Janet, we think like this, and Janet gets mad and says, "Be quiet, just watch the movie," you know. But anyway, fourth level, syntopical reading, the most complex and systematic of 4 levels. This is comparative reading. Here, y'all read since we're talking about reading. Go ahead, somebody start reading right here.
Then to critical reading.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, let me. The most complex and systematic of the 4 levels. Oh, what is that? Synthopitical reading is the most complex and systematic. Okay, of the 4 levels. This is the comparative reading in which many books are read in a given topic. True synoptical, yeah. True
synoptical, yeah.
Synoptical reading, the reader will be able to develop and synthesize new analysis of the subject that are not available in any of the individual books.
Right,
Charlie,
yeah. Many of my college classes were like that. Sociology and of course theology and stuff.
So what does it mean that through synoptical reading, the reader will be able?
Have you ever heard of the Synoptic Gospels?
No, this is the first time I heard.
Okay, let me show you this. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are called the synoptic. SYNOPTIC. Soon.
Matthew, John, and Luke.
Soon is the Greek preposition that means with. Okay. Optic means eyes. So seeing with the same eyes. So like when I taught y'all synthetic summaries, you know, the descriptive summaries, the word synthesis, SYN, is with thesis. Okay. And I already know you know what a thesis is, Rowena.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're building things together. We're summarizing, you know, we're bringing it all together. So synoptic reading is sort of like that, except you're reading different books on one topic and bringing it all together.
Okay, I understood now. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Clear all drawings. Hey, I want to stop my. I don't. Okay. All right. Start reading right here.
Chapter 3, the first level of reading, elementary reading.
Yes.
The stages of elementary reading. The first stage of elementary reading, reading readiness, corresponds to preschool and kindergarten experiences.
So what they're
The
saying is
second,
you learn elementary reading in preschool and kindergarten. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Then go
right.
to the second stage would word mastery, corresponds to the first grade experience. The third and final stage of reading is attend in junior high school.
You skip your
Sorry.
I skip.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
The
It's part
third
of
stage,
reading.
elementary reading. Vocabulary growth and the utilization of context is typically acquired at about the end of the fourth grade of elementary school. Example,
Yeah.
functional literacy.
So this is funny that this brings up because let me show you all what happens. So somebody learns some Bible word studies, right? A Greek word, right? And they think that they know everything about that word, right?
Mm.
But they don't know the context. And so they put the wrong meaning in the context, okay?
Mm.
So this is what
Yeah.
this is talking about, understanding context. Okay, now fourth,
The fourth and final stage of reading is attained in junior high school. The child is now capable of reading almost anything, but is still in a relatively unsophisticated manner.
okay, go ahead.
A good high school should produce good analytical readers. A good college should produce good typical, so sorry,
Syntopical.
centupical readers. However, many schools fail to teach others skills. Educational opportunity that is limited only by individual desire. Yeah. Ability and need is the most valuable service that society can provide for its members.
Okay, now this is how you do second level reading, inspectional reading. Okay, so remember
Okay.
this first one was describing how you learn elementary reading in these different stages. Okay, now this is where you learn how to do inspection reading. Okay, go ahead.
Seems like observation.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm.
Go ahead, right here.
The observation is the first. Okay. Chapter 4. The second level of reading, inspectional reading. Skim the following: title, page, preface, table of contents, index. Oh, we are going to make a book. This should give you a good sense about the author's main contention and what kind of book has been written.
Right. My recent theology professor, he says that whenever you get a theology book, you should spend about an hour or two just going over the table of contents and seeing the flow and the structure and how he puts theology together before you start reading it. So yeah, we're not making a book, we're reading a book. And so these are the things you look at when you're supposed to look at a book. So Janet, when you read Final Destiny on your bookshelf, this is what you should be looking for first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did. I am actually, that's what I'm doing because it's huge book and I cannot, searching, and then so I tried to, the title, page, preface, table of contents, and index. I'm referring to that so that I can see what I trying to find.
Okay.
Okay. Select a few pivotal chapters and read a few paragraphs here and there in particular. Pay attention to the end and chapters and the final chapter. Read the last 2 to 3 pages as the author is more likely to provide summaries or highlights of the ideas he or she consider most important.
Okay.
Author emphasizes that superficial ordinary has negative connotations, but in the context of effective reading, it is an essential role. Understanding a book at the superficial level sets the reader expectation and helps then determine whether or not to invest in the book in first place.
Yeah. So if you see a book and you read the page and you read this stuff right here, and you pick a few main chapters, and you don't think the book is interesting, then you can get another book.
Mm,
So when
okay.
you're at the library, or if you're in a store and you're trying to decide if you want to buy a book, now if it's a Bible book, I recommend you talk to me about it because I can help you there. But um, this refers to all books. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. In tech, okay. In
In ta-
tackling a difficult,
yeah,
yeah, in
tackling.
tackling a difficult book for the first time, read it through without ever stopping to book up or ponder the things you do not understand right away. Yeah. The author emphasizes that multiple readings may be necessary for the better understanding. I agree. If you insist on understanding everything on every page before you go on to the next, you will not get very far in your effort to master the fine points. You will miss the big points. What does it mean?
Meaning
You,
that you try to read, but you're not trying to figure out everything. If you don't
yeah.
understand something, keep reading because you're not supposed to understand everything right now.
Mm,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. All right. If okay, speed of reading is dependent on the goal. Oh, speed reading is dependent on the goal of the reader activity. Inspection, inspectional reading is done quickly because the goal is to get the gist of the book and the overarching. Let me enlarge. Oh, okay. Overarching idea. Similarly, analytical reading will be will be performed more slowly. Yeah. Chapter 5, How to be a demanding reader. The fundamental prescription of active reading: ask questions while you read. Questions that you yourself must try to answer in the course of reading. What is the book about as a whole? Discover the leading theme of the book. What is being said and detailed and how? Discover the main ideas, assertions, and arguments. Is the book true in whole or part? What of it?
So did we do that when we read the Bible? Ganyan ba talaga ginawa natin?
Well, we know
Hindi.
the Bible is true. We know that part.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah,
what did we really do that
a little bit.
method?
We are not perfect to do that. Yeah, but maybe without knowing, we did if we really interested what we are reading.
Well,
Yeah.
I taught y'all a few Bible study methods, and we'll go back to learning more deeper Bible study methods as we go. But go ahead.
Mm.
Okay. Marking a book or taking notes is an indispensable part of reading. Here are some recommended methods. Underlying to emphasize a statement. Vertical lines at
Yan,
the margin to emphasize passages. Star, star is heric or
There is
other margin marking to emphasize passage. Number in the margin to indicate sequences of points. Number of other pages in the margin to reference related points found elsewhere in book. Circling of the keywords or phrases. Writing in the margin or at the top or bottom of the page. The record question and silent prose. Three types of
note making.
note making. Structural notes. Notes. Wait.
Note making.
Wait. Wait.
So,
Number one, please bring it down, please. Scroll down. Yeah, thank you. Underlining. So emphasizes statements. Vertical lines at the margin. No, sorry. Is that what I'm reading? I go back. Sorry. It's very
Start right
small.
here. Start right here.
Structural notes. That's about the structure
you are
of
on your phone. It's confusing when you're on phone, so it's fine.
Okay.
yeah. Conceptual notes, notes about the author's ideas, subject matter. Shape of the discussion notes, comparative notes in which other author ideas are alongside the current book. Ano ito? Skiing analogy.
Yeah.
Skiing analogy. You must learn to forget the separate acts in order to perform all of them. Forget them as separate acts. You have to learn from first as separate acts.
So what
Okay?
they're saying is the way you learn
What?
the way you learn how to ski in snow. I've never skied on snow. Is you have to learn little steps, you know. But when you ski, you got to do it all at once. Sort of like when you drive a car. You learn everything separately, but whenever you drive a car, you do everything together. So
Yeah,
I like the example of karate. You learn different moves, but whenever you're in the fight, you do everything, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But so skiing is not really applicable.
Well, have you skied before?
No, that's why
Okay.
it's really
Okay, it's
not
applicable, but not to us. Because we're too poor to ski.
Oh, that's good. This is the first time I heard you laugh like that, Charles.
But SFT's in Canada, so maybe he skis.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
You say
Part
that's the
two.
first time you heard me laugh. Janet always complains. Don't laugh like that. You seem like stupid.
No, it's so cute.
Okay, you have your kakampi, Charlie.
I have my what?
Kakampi.
What's that?
The pen on your side.
Oh, okay.
Support
Gotcha.
you. Oh, it's Wayne is the one who support.
Okay.
No, okay. All right. Part two. Third level of reading, analytical reading. Third level. Okay. Chapter 6. Pigeon holding a book. Well, how to hold pigeon holding? Oh my goodness.
Okay. I can tell you what pigeonholing is, but I can't tell you where the word came from. Okay. Pigeonholing is like where you try to trap something in like a classification. So let's look it up.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna learn what pigeonholing is.
Sorry. It's just
Eminem said it in a song, and he was talking about all right, so let me see. To unfairly think or to describe someone or something belonging to a particular group, having a particular skull. So let me find out where the word came from. Because that's the thing. I know that I knew the meaning, but I don't know where it came from. So what we do is etymology.
Etymology is studying the word. Studying.
Yeah, the form of the word. Okay. So this is supposedly where it came from. As pigeonhole in 1570. Here, where's my reader at? Somebody want to be a reader?
Okay, which one?
Read pigeonhole,
And
noun.
also big-
Pigeonhole, noun. Also pigeonhole, 1570s as a small recess for pigeons to nest in from pigeon hole. Later, hole in a dovecot for pigeons to pass in and out. Extended meaning, a little compartment or division in a writing desk, etc. is from 1680s based on resemblance.
Oh,
So
Hence,
basically what it sounds like it's saying is originally the pigeon, the bird, would go in and out the hole, right? But
all right, all
then-
right.
But then the hole meant to mean something like a perfect compartment, a perfect place, a good category. It's like, where do you put your things? But then it seems to turn to become negative, meaning that, oh, you're trying to trap me. You're trying to put me in a box, but I'm not in a box. You're trying to label me. That's how it's used a lot of times, okay?
Okay.
So now you know how to hold a pigeon.
Yeah, you know how I tell you how I imagine about pigeonholing.
How to hold
That's
the
why I love.
pigeon.
Sorry, I have the very, very funny imagination about it.
Okay.
Okay. First rule of analytical reading: you must know. You must know. You must know that. You must know what kind of book you are reading, and you should know this as early in the process as possible, probably before you begin to read.
Think about this. We're preparing for this debate. We're reading the person like a book,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, this pigeon holding a book. This
Yeah,
is
we don't
what
want to
you're.
we don't want to pigeonhole him, but we want to read him
Yeah.
like a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
So
quite it's quite intense for us to, interesting, and like how to say um how to say wait, I forget the use the word. This one, like, you must know what kind of book you are reading, and you should know this as early in the process as possible, preferably before you begin to read. So it's just like whatever comes out from the mouth, you must read the mind, or whatever words come out in the mouth is like converting into what he is thinking, or
yeah,
what
you
we are.
can hear people's words, but you need to know what kind of person you're talking to.
Yes.
What is
Yeah.
their background? What is their intention? Why are they
Yeah.
saying what they're saying?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead right here.
Okay, that my very tiny in my handphone, theoretical versus practical
tiny.
book.
I can make it bigger. Just
I help you. I help you.
Okay. Read for me, my dear Lisa.
Where do you?
Chapter is
Okay, so
very
theoretical versus practical books. Theoretical books teach you that something is the case. Practical books teach you how to do something you want to do, or things you should do. History, science, and philosophy are often theoretical books.
and some people would think theology is theoretical, but it's actually both. So my channel, a lot of my videos, I've gone back and made them how to do this, how to do that, because I want people to see it's practical, even though we're going very deep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, chapter 7, X-raying a book. Oh, X-raying a book.
Not
It's quite
X-rated, X-raying.
X-raying.
Yeah,
X-raying.
X-ray. The
X-ray
book.
light, yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
bit expensive because you need to X-ray. So second rule of analytical reading, state the unity of the whole book in a single sentence, or at most a few sentences, or
What's that sound like?
I don't know.
Huh? The analytical
okay.
reading. The unity of the
Analytical
whole-
reading is that you must
descriptive
unite.
Y'all
Hmm?
did that. Y'all did that with Philemon.
Yeah. It
Oh,
seems like the description, the descriptive summary.
oh,
That's
I
why
see.
the role of analytical reading is state the unity of the whole book in a single sentence, or at most a few sentences or a short paragraph. That we were did in the descriptive summary in Philemon. We done that.
Wow. Set for the major part of the book are showing how these are organized into a whole by being ordered to one another and to the unity of the whole. Yeah.
Like
So,
outlines, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Should I continue?
Yes, you should continue.
A good book is an orderly arrangement of parts. Being able to understand how the parts work in concert is critical to being a good reader. What is concert? So,
Concert, when you go to a concert, that means all the music is playing together. The singer or the rapper, they're doing everything together. So when something's working in concert, it's working in harmony. They're working together so that it's not messed up.
oh, I see. So the best books are those that have the most intelligible structure. So in many expository nonfiction books, the author will lay out their theme and goals in the preface. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations might be summed up as follows. This is an inquiry into the sources of the national wealth in any economy that is built on a division of labor, considering the relation of the wages paid.
Okay. You don't have to read this part, but if I was come to this part and I'm doing these steps, and I was reading out loud, this is what I would do. This is inquiry to the source of national wealth of the economy that is built on division of labor. Consider the weight of wages and paid labor, the proper tourniquet or rent on the landlord is the prime factors in the price of commodities. It discusses the various ways the capital can be more or less gainfully employed. It relates to origin, use of money, to the accumulation and employment of capital. Examine the development of opulence of different nations under different conditions. It compares the several systems of a political economy and argues for the beneficence of free trade.
Oh, this is how it goes.
Well, that's one step you can do. It's not important. This is an illustration of what an expository book does. An expository book tells you what it's going to talk about. So like an expository sermon or preaching breaks down the passage and explains things to you, okay? And so that's sort of similar to that. So this is just an illustration. You notice he's got a line here that's telling you this is an illustration and a quote. It's not very important for the point.
Oh, I see.
Just something quoting somewhere.
Yeah. So a good author will clearly state the plan of this book. Unfortunately, many readers neglect to recall this plan even after encountering it, which is a symptom of poor reading comprehension. So the rules of reading are
Kulang sa pag-uunawa. Magiging kulang sa pag-uunawa.
English, please.
Reading comprehension, just make
it's
it
lack of understanding.
Right, I didn't comprehend.
Yeah. So the rules of reading are also rules of writing. So the two are reciprocal but not identical. The reader tries to uncover the skeleton that the book conceals. The author starts with the skeleton and tries to cover it up. Good writing should have unity, clarity and coherence. Fourth rule of analytical reading, find out what the author's problem were. The author of a book starts with a question or a set of questions. The book ostensibly contains the answers or answers. So recap of the first stage of the answer. Let's buy the book according to get
You can, this is a list now. You can do that. But good memory, but this is not an illustration. This is a like a list.
Why there is a bar, blue bar there?
It's illustration.
Recap.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, it's showing it's subordinate to this. Go ahead.
The first stage. Oh, so you have to write like that, Mal. If you read the book, and then you have to write, oh, what's this kind of.
Okay, wait. Let me. I like to
define the problem
first.
But you know what? It's easy to read a book when it's a love story book because it can really relate to the core.
But you know what? Once you learn the structure of a love story, you realize all the books that you're reading or all the movies that you're watching are all the same.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you
Exactly.
that.
Only the word.
Yeah, the words change. That's it. Same thing with
Yes.
everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Start reading right here because you went way down here, but we got to get to 1 before we get to 4.
Okay.
That's a
Classi-
structure. That's a
classi-
numerical
Okay.
structure
All
and a
right.
list.
Okay. All right. Classify the book according to kind of subject matter. State what the whole book is about with the utmost brevity. Immutable as major parts in their order and relations, and outline these parts as you have outlined the whole.
See, and I've taught
Define,
outlining as well.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Define the problem or problems that the author is trying
Try
to
to
solve.
Like Paul trying to solve that speaking inconsistently.
Go ahead.
You keep on eating. Chapter 8, coming to terms with an author. A term is a word used
You are not supposed to be
unambiguously.
at this hour.
Think of terms as a skilled use of words for the sake of communicating knowledge. So, fifth rule of analytical reading: find the important words and through them come to terms with the author. Language can be vague and misleading. Effective communication between writer and reader requires that a common framework is established between the two.
Yeah,
Language
like y'all didn't know what skiing was, or at least Rowena didn't, and I've never experienced it myself. So she said that doesn't apply. But yeah,
Oh, I see. So language is imperfect as a medium
yeah.
for convincing knowledge. It is also functions as an obstacle to communications. No author, regardless of his skill in writing, can achieve communication without reciprocal skill on the part of readers. Example, the word reading has many meanings. On one word is the vehicle for many terms. For example, reading to be entertained, reading for information, and reading to achieve understanding. In the case of the author's book, he and the readers must explicitly agree to discuss reading on terms of the last definition, reading to achieve understanding. Chapter 9, determining an author's message. So propositions are the answers to questions. They are declaration of knowledge or opinion. Readers not only want to know an author's propositions, they must know why they should be persuaded to accept them. Sentences and paragraphs are grammatical units. Propositions and arguments are logical units. So in order to agree or disagree.
So identifying the paragraphs, the sentences, and writing a summary of each one.
Between propositions and preposition?
A proposition is a statement.
Propositions.
If I say you cannot lose your salvation, that's a proposition. Now, if I said you cannot lose your salvation because the Bible promises that you are eternally secure based on what the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit did, that is a thesis because I gave a what and I gave a why. I said you cannot lose your salvation. That's the proposition. And then the why is because of the promises from the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay.
So that's a preposition.
Proposition. Preposition is anything a cat can do.
Ayun, yeah, okay, that's it.
Okay. On, under, by, with, in,
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
Lisa left. She is no longer in the room.
That's
Okay.
preposition.
Yeah, it's a preposition, right?
Who's that? A baby?
Lisa is doing laundry.
Oh,
That's
that's not.
a proposition.
Yeah.
No, it's raining outside, so I take off all my clothes.
Ah. I just
He just used you as example of the preposition.
Yes, yes. You just used
just
an
used you.
example, but anyway, let's continue.
Okay, so
You look at Charlie's love is contagious, you know.
it's not because it's infectious.
It's
Yeah.
infectious. Okay, it's the same, contagious
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all right, all right.
My laugh is COVID to Filipinas.
COVID.
COVID. Okay, where am I?
You're right here.
Sentences. Yes, I think in sentences and paragraphs are
Oh
grammatically.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about propositions, arguments are logical units.
Yeah. So in order to agree or disagree with an author, the reader must first understand the argument the author is making.
So
from
like
the
right
author-
now, we're looking at the structure of the debate. This is the opening statement, right? And in the opening statement, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say what I believe, what my position is, and why do I believe it? And you want to try to prepare people, I guess, and I'm going to research this a little bit more. You want to prepare people for that. But anyway, I don't know if I'm opening or him. I don't know. I'd have to ask SFT. I don't know how that works. If he opens, I'm just going to battle. But if I open, it'd be different. All right, so go ahead, continue reading.
Yeah, in order, from the author's point of view, the important sentences are the ones that expresses the judgments on which his whole arguments rest. So the author elaborates on Rule 7. Fine if you can, the paragraphs in the book that state its important arguments, but if the arguments are not thus expressed, your task so is to construct them by taking a sentence from this paragraph and one from that until you have gathered together the sequence of sentences that state the propositions that compose the argument.
So sometimes the author will tell you, this is why I'm writing. Other times he gives you all the details and wants you to connect everything based on tracing his argument to come to a conclusion. One is deductive and the other is inductive.
Mm-hmm.
Or one is explicit and the other one is implicit.
So a good book usually summarizes itself as it develops its arguments. So critical elements to the construction of an argument.
Like at the end of Final Destiny, it has a chapter summary at the end. So yeah. Okay.
So I should read this illustration. So every
well,
argument,
this is more of a list. This is not an illustration.
It's a list.
You see the sub points?
But why ABCD? Yeah.
Oh, it's a list.
Sub points.
The subpoint of the critical elements to the construction of an argument.
Oh, Janet, take over.
Janet, take over, she said.
Critical elements to the construction of an argument. Every argument involves a number of statements. Some are reasons for why the reader should accept a conclusion. Discriminate between deductive and inductive arguments. Inductive reasoning will use particular facts as evidence for a generalization. Deductive reasoning will use a series of general statements to support another generalization. That's so difficult. Observe the author's assumption, which one are probable or supported by evidence, and which one are self-evident and possibly fallacious or unproven. Recap of the second stage of analytical reading. Come to terms with the author by interpreting his keywords. Grasp the author's leading propositions by dealing with his most important sentences. Know the author arguments. Yes, sir. By finding them in, okay, or constructing them out of, okay, sequences of sentences. Determine, oh no.
Where'd you go?
No,
no.
because it's moving.
Oh,
You know, your eyes is changing her eyes.
Determine which of his problem the author has solved and which he has not, and ask the latter decide which the author knew he had failed to solve. No, you're wrong of observation. What I have done earlier. I saw something here that black ants. I don't know where it's come from. So I just no.
oh,
So,
okay. You were chasing the ant. You weren't chasing the words. Okay.
yeah, no. So chapter 10, criticizing a book fairly. The readers gets the last word in the conversation between author and reader. Even if the reader is not convinced or persuaded, the author's intention and effort should be respected. The readers owes him a considered judgment. If he cannot say, I agree, he should at least have grounds for disagreeing. Yeah, how you can, okay. Yeah, but the other don't want to have our conclusion, to judge, to have a fairly judgment. They just comes out into, no, you know, based on what you said, but not based on your conclusion of what you just said. Do not begin criticism until you have completed your outline and your interpretation of the book. Do not disagree disputatiously or contentiously. Demonstrate that you recognize the difference between knowledge and mere personal opinion by presenting good reasons for any critical judgment you make. Chapter 11, agreeing or disagreeing with an author. So are we able to disagreeing the Bible? If we are
No,
doing that, we apply the Bible? Of
no, we
course not,
believe
right?
the Bible is true.
Yeah, so a special criteria for points of criticism. Show wherein the author is uninformed. Show wherein the author is misinformed. Show wherein the author is illogical. Show wherein the author's analysis or account is incomplete. Oh my goodness. You should be attentive when you are talking to a person or what the topic that you are.
Right. And that's the whole thing, is that when a person says read but don't study, I'm fine with that if they're doing this kind of reading right here. But that's not what they mean. They mean, oh, I'm gonna go sit underneath the tree and listen to the music or and read it a little bit until I feel good and then go somewhere. That's it.
Just depending on emotion, so it will not work it out that way.
If you're a young Christian and no one's ever taught you, you're gonna be reading things like, why did you do this, God? I don't understand this. Why did this happen here? What does this word mean? You'll be asking those questions. And hopefully you'll be humble enough to learn from other people, but some people are not, But you should wrestle with the Bible. Jacob wrestled with God, right? As the angel, but I think it was God, but representative. So yeah. All right, continue reading.
Chapter 12, age 2 reading. Intrinsic versus extrinsic reading. Intrinsic reading means reading a book in itself. Extrinsic reading involves use of external references, experiences, and sources. Oh, so that you can understand. So like the Bible, it's extrinsic. Reading involves use of external reference, right, Charlie? No?
When you read the Bible first intrinsically.
Yes.
But then, yeah, you use other books as well.
Yeah. So intrinsic sources should be called upon after exhausting your intrinsic methods with the goal of understanding. Sources for extrinsic reading: 1, experience. It's like common or specialized. 2, other similar or related books, commentaries and abstracts on the books. 4, reference book, dictionaries, encyclopedias, etc. So, part 3, approaches to different kinds of reading matter. Chapter 13 to 19. Maybe Siswing Thorns.
Okay. This is the weakest section of the book and specific to different genres like philosophy, science, and imaginative literature. The fundamental methods outlined in parts 1 and 2 are all employed in the reading of different literary categories and genres.
So remember that what we're reading is an actual summary and notes of the book called How to Read a Book. So this person is saying this is the weakest section about the genres. Okay. Then in part 4, the ultimate goes to reading. He didn't even include no comments.
Okay.
Oh no, it's here, chapter 20. Okay, go ahead, read 4th level reading,
Okay,
syntopical reading.
okay, okay. Knowing the more than one book is relevant to the particular question is the first requirement in any project of synoptical reading. Knowing which books should be read in a general way is the second requirement of synoptical reading. Inspectional reading is a critical skill to help you zero in one essential book to read analytically when faced with extensive bi- bibliology.
Bibliography. Yeah.
Bibliography or less of the books to investigate. The skill the skillful inspectional reading does more to classify a book in this mental card catalog. He also discovers in the very short time it takes him to inspect it, whether the book says something important about the subject or not. Author urges readers not to combine inspectional and analytical reading in the single passage for a given book. He cites this as a mistake for many younger researcher make. Charlie, can you explain this one? Author urges not to
So
combine. Combine in
Author urges readers.
critical reading
Um,
in a single pass.
so what
The
happened? Let me explain what happens. Okay, so remember what inspectional reading is. So we back up.
fiction, not true. Fiction, just a myth. Or
okay,
fiction.
okay.
Hindi totoo.
Okay, let me show you this. We got to go way back up here.
You. All right. I forget that, Janet.
Okay, look. Inspectional
Alright.
is where you're reading, you're just skimming the book. What is the book about? So they're saying you can't, when you're doing syntopical reading, you can't just combine this step with analytical reading. He said it's a separate step by itself. So that's what it's referring to right here.
Quite complicated. Okay. Alright. 20. Okay.
The 5 steps. Here's the 5 steps for syntopical
Okay.
reading or
So,
synoptical.
5 steps for synoptical reading. Step 1. Finding the relevant passages in a synoptical reading. It is you. And your concerns are the primarily to be served, not the books, but you read.
Right. So let me explain. So I do a lot of this in seminary. So I take a class, Advanced Greek 2, right? And in that class, we're assigned a paper on the book of Romans. We translated the book of Romans, we outlined the book of Romans, we did all that, right? But not only are we told to write on the book of Romans, we are told that we have to write on the topic of sanctification, the different views of sanctification. and to explain Paul's model of sanctification in the book of Romans. So when I did that, I picked some books that have different views, like 4 views of Romans, 4 views of preaching Romans, 5 views on justification, different books like that. So those books have many different views, many different authors for different points. It's such like Janet and SFT's recent James 2. You had 3 free grace, you had what, 3 Calvinists basically, and you had a Seventh-day Adventist, and you had a Catholic, and they were all given their view of James 2. So it's sort of similar to that.
It's like difficult to do seminar, to enroll seminary if you do that. Very difficult.
Well, I know tricks how to make things easier, to narrow down your topic, choose your resources and stuff like that. So I can help reach that.
Yeah, we'll continue our
Okay. All right, step
11:50
2.
already. Okay. Step 2, bringing the authors to terms. You, the reader, must establish the terms and bring your authors to them after than the other way around.
Right.
It really comes down to forcing an author to use your language rather than using his. Step 3, defining the issue. An issue is
step
probably
3, getting the question clear.
Getting the question clear. The first question usually have to do with existence and character of the phenomenon or idea we are investigating.
Like sanctification. Okay. Defining the issues.
Step 4, defining the issues. An issue that truly join join when 2 authors who understand a question in the same way answer it in contrary or contradictory ways. When this does not happen because of different conception of the question, the task of the synoptical reading is to define the issue in such a way as to ensure that they are joined as well as may be.
So you want the people that are talking, even though they don't have the same belief, you want them to be able to understand each other or the same books. Because if this book don't understand this book, then they won't be able to argue. You have to understand what a person is saying before you can debate them, before you can write against them.
Study the person first, or study the book first before you.
Yes, that's the application. Okay, good.
Observation. Okay.
It's like I was in a recent informal debate with this one guy, CJ Cox, and he kept saying, "You're not listening to what I'm saying." He said, "You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'll explain it to you again, and hopefully you will listen." And I said, "I understand your position. Let me steelman it for you. Let me explain what you're saying." And then I explained to him. He goes, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying." Then he goes, "But now I'm getting frustrated or angry." I can't remember his word, because you're either lying, and then he changed his whole approach. Because if I'm miscommunication, it's not my fault. But if I understand him but don't agree with him, he accused me of being dishonest. So it's kind of crazy like that.
I was like, what? When I was listening the debate.
I listened the one that you showed in Discord, right?
No, this is a new one. That was a James 2 one, but there's a new one. Yeah.
It's so
Janet wants to go in there and fight, but she's always busy. But go ahead. Step 5.
Analyze the question by ordering the question and issues in such a way as to throw maximum light on the subject. More general issues should precede less general ones, and relations among issues should be clearly indicated. Maintain dialectical detachment and objectivity throughout the process, including a quote from a given author when offering an interpretation of their text. Chapter
Charlie, did
21.
you read the message?
Yeah, I read it. I don't know if you... Yes.
Did you read the message of Lisa?
How can I read the message when I told you I can't see the message? I'd have to stop my screen so I could
Oh,
see the
no.
message.
Yes, stop sharing screen, please,
All right. Sorry.
and read.
Yeah, tomorrow I need to wake up early.
Yeah, I'm also
Okay,
bringing
so-
Okay,
breakfast
yes,
over
I will land
tomorrow.
the plane right now. Hold on.
I will land the plane right now.
Hold on tight.
Chapter 21. All right, go.
Okay, that's the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you are reading
reading
in order
the growth
to
of the
become
mind.
a better reader, you cannot read just any book or article. You must tackle books that are beyond you, or as we have said, books that are over your head. Only books of that sort will make you stretch your mind, and unless you stretch, you will not learn.
Right, and that's why I say Final Destiny is one of the most challenging books that I've read and studied, because that's what it does. It's so much information and challenges you, stretches you, exposes you to so many different things. And most of these debates that I'm having, it's because they don't know the information in that book, or they don't think or they don't think the information in the book is strong, because they're prideful or whatever, and they haven't examined it out, you know. And not everybody agrees with everything in there. That's not the point. But the point is, it challenges you. Like I said before, Dr. Dean gives that book to people to prepare them for seminary. And that's what I started with Josh with. So, all right.
Okay.
Any thoughts, questions?
So we will pray that person will not accuse you of being like,
Lying, being dishonest.
yeah, being this.
And forcing to unforce dishonesty and making your own
Accuse.
understand it.
Yeah, always.
Accurate.
Yeah.
We pray for that.
Janet, you are not supposed to eat this hour, it's too late.
This
And
is
then
my
later
dinner.
on, you are not supposed to eat by this hour.
Why?
It's not good.
I'm not going to sleep yet.
Even now.
See, you're changing your time and
You are trying to change your time. Okay, practice it well.
can easy to transform. My goodness.
She's preparing for America. Is that what you are saying? To come to my time zone?
Yeah, I still have work here. I cannot sleep. That's why.
So you are an owl.
Yeah.
You are an owl.
No,
Janet.
You're an owl. You're an owl.
I don't have big eyes.
No.
Yeah, because if you change the time, we are Asian, so you have to follow the time frame.
No, I will sleep.
You see, when you read actually, if you are concerned about your health, yes, before 8 you must eat. Before 8 you must. After 8 p.m. you must not.
But the thing is, I ate breakfast
Her
at 12.
her family eats late.
I ate lunch at 8 o'clock.
Anyway,
Okay.
anyway, is you yourself, it's not ours.
Yes.
You're doing intermittent fasting because you're eating late.
No, it's not.
Something
It's
like
not,
that.
because the way she eat, look at how the food and she
Now that we've talked
and she
about the
drinking
spiritual and mental food, they're talking about the physical food.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry
No,
that
she just
Need to-
Wayne, she just trained herself to, of course it's going to USA, so she's training herself like time, like US time.
Okay.
That's why. Okay.
Now that we got that established, can y'all tell the audience what they can do besides you don't eat it at night?
Well, hello guys. Guys from outside the screen, if you are blessed, just hit the comment or just hit what? Subscribes
Subscribe.
and hit the buttons
And
below.
share to
and your and
Let me tell you how I say it, and then you could go study it, you know.
okay, I will write it down.
If you've been blessed by this video, you know, you can subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell if you want notification. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Share this with others. And if you want to donate, there's a link that'll be at the bottom for PayPal. If you're blessed through the ministry, and please,
click this
most of
menu
all,
sign.
keep this ministry in prayer. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, guys, God bless.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
brother